I do want to linger on that instance you mentioned with Top Chef Masters. I feel the Italians did a great job in celebrating their regional cuisines, in really emphasizing the resourcefulness or the sustainability aspect. I'm talking about the La Cucina Povera. I feel like we've not been able to extend that appreciation to our own regional cuisines. And not just regional cuisine, like you mentioned, a vegetarian diet. I feel like within our community itself, it has not really looked favorably upon. You hear so many comments like a vegetarian diet is not a complete meal, or it's low in protein, or it doesn't give you all the nutrients. Can you address these statements? You're one of the most staunch supporters of vegetarian diet. You were eliminated from Top Chef Masters for this lecture on a plate that you served. How do you view a vegetarian diet? Is it a complete meal? Does it give you all the nutrients you need? Can you get all the protein intake that you need?
You can get everything you need from a lacto-vegetarian diet. Yeah. So veganism is a fad. Stay away. All the diets fail humans. Every January 1st, we make a commitment. We are following this diet, that thing. And every January 1st, we start going back to another diet that's going to save us. Mindfulness, lifestyle change, holistic conversations with your heart, mind, and soul. Change that can be sustained by family members supporting you, your friends and your family, relatives marching forward with you. Those are that stick. So vegetarianism, the world has mostly been vegetarian. Whoever did your research on me did a very good job. You said Cucina Povera. I talk about that everywhere. And so thank you to whoever that person is. Cucina Povera, the cuisine of poverty, the cuisine of people with modest means. In most countries, in most nations, in most societies, good food, whole food, simple items are cheap. And processed, packaged, poisonous garbage is expensive. So people who are poor eat well, and people who are rich often die of diseases. In America and in India, now, India of today. But in America, the rich, a very dear friend of mine who's a journalist, I won't name her, but she did a lot of coverage in Asia, and so would come back to America once in 2 years. And when she was coming once, her father was picking her up and said, "Sweetheart, we are going to visit your grandmother in the Midwest. Get ready. They have elephants in the Midwest." She said, "Elephants?" And she didn't get what he was saying. So when she landed after a few years abroad, she saw the size of humans in America. The human elephants was what the father was talking about. How did they get there? Not because they wanted to, because the food we feed our people is an aberration. Someone is taking a beautiful, cheap cauliflower grown in an innocent bed with dirt under it and takes it and then puts it into a pot with chemicals in it, powders and all kinds of rubbish with trans fat and a lot of murderous ingredients that congeal it and make it into shapes and forms that don't resemble a cauliflower. Or even if it does, it doesn't matter. Then they package them, then they label them, then they ship them across America. And that container is 99 cents, sometimes 48 cents. But a whole head of cauliflower is $5 to $9. Where is that money coming from? To do all those horrible acts to the innocent cauliflower that is selling for $9 in a grocery store for a poor man or woman to eat as a whole fruit, a vegetable, that's $9. But a package ready to eat that will serve 4 people is 99 cents. What that 99 cents is doing is clogging your arteries, it's maiming your brain, it's crippling your future, and it's disconnecting you with a healthy past that you were once part of. It's put you into a time warp where you and your future generations will come out of poverty, having become the size of elephants, having no connection to real food, whole food, real stories that even remotely connect you to a kitchen and cooking. How can those people be saved? They can't. Because it's generational maiming of minds for the bald, hunger-ridden, capitalist marauders who don't care a damn about humans, but only profit. I was taken to in Nebraska, to the museum of a very powerful corporation that made napalm and other such chemicals, but also makes all kinds of food chemicals that make liquid into chip, chip into powder, powder into foam, foam into syrup. They can twist food into 100 shapes and forms. I was invited to sit on the board. I went for the first board meeting, and there they had that Hall of Fame, which had all these chemicals and all the things they'd made, like M&Ms and this thing and that thing and all kinds of things that were ghastly, exciting. I eat a lot of candy. But by the time I came out of that Hall of Fame of this large corporation, I had tears in my eyes, and the CEO asked me, "Why are you crying?" I said, "This should be called Hall of Shame, not Hall of Fame." I said, "This is where the laboratory of the devil, where America lost connection to its great farming communities and the wealth of ingredients that they put forth. This is where the demise of America started. This should be Hall of Shame." Before I got back to my farm in upstate New York, my partner had already received a FedEx package pushing me out to the board, giving me a little gag money to be silenced and just stay home and not come back for the next meeting. And this is the dirty, dark past of the food world in its worst. And this is the recipe that has been leading us in America and now in India to generations of people fooling themselves, failing themselves, feeding themselves poison, celebrating it as delicious. And when you keep doing it, each generation goes further from the truth, further from real flavor and taste. And what they put forth on their tables is garbage that has no heart and soul and is seemingly delicious, but also taking them to hospitals to die of diabetes, heart disease, metabolic syndrome, and things much worse. So America and India, two of the worst today in the world of food and what they're doing with eating crap. And India, a nation, and the only reason I'm on the Nutrition Advisory Board to bring in women is India. They love our food, how sensible and rich it is, how plant forward it is, how yummily whole food connections it brings forth. We've lost all of that. The butter chicken, dal makhni, and all these crappy foods that are inventions of recent history are popular in our restaurants. But the ghar ka khana, the dal, chawal, sabzi, the rice, lentils, and stir-fried veggies that are cooked with very little fat but good fat, that are mostly all natural veggies and foods that come with a bowl of lentils, a whole grain rice, a little chapati made with different flours. We've forgotten all of that. We think with shame about them, but we think with pride about the fusion cooking, the Jenny pizza and the the dal sushi and all that crap. So till we become a nation that looks at America's failures and looks at the mirror and says, we don't want to be going there, we will be a nation of people tomorrow that are just as maimed, robbed, and failed as the Americans we look at as elephants in a grocery store.